Hello and welcome back to another edition of Teacher Talk Second Grade. And listen, I got a fun one. This is going to be the first of many book series reviews on Big Nate. And this one is Big Nate in a Class by Himself. This is the first Big Nate chapter book, novel style, by Lincoln Pierce. The other books that he has out are going to be a collection of comics. This one, again, the first of, I think it's 8 or 9 that are in sort of a book series. So very, very cool. Let's dive in. Let's see what we got going here. We'll look at the front, the back, the spine of the book. We'll also read chapter 1 to see if you like the book and it's a good fit for you. Remember, these book reviews are not intended to read the whole book to you. They're intended to read a little bit to you so you can get a feel for the book and decide, nah, I don't like that thing. Or what you're probably going to say is, hey, mom, dad, I got to get this book. Let's make sure I get it in my hands. Or maybe you go to the local library and get it too. So let's take a look at the book levels. As you can see, this is a book level S. If you're familiar with my chapter, you know that I level all of my books level S on the guided reading system. The guided GRL, guided reading level, puts this book at end of 3rd grade, beginning 4th grade. Now, if you're, I say that I'm a 2nd grade teacher, and that's true. This channel is really for all of elementary school from 1st grade to 6th grade. But I call it that because I teach second. So listen, if you're 3rd, 4th, 5th grader, this could be a great book series for you too. S puts it end of 3rd, beginning 4th. Now here's something interesting. If you look right here, it says it's a Lexile of 500, which puts it a little bit lower, puts it kind of end of 2nd, beginning of 3rd grade. So the point is, take a look at the text that's on here. Maybe when we get to one of the pages, you want to press pause and try to read it yourself and see if it's a good fit. So, Big Nate in a Class by Himself, Lincoln Pierce. Hey, Lincoln Pierce, by the way, I'm just falling into your book series. You are awesome. This is another awesome book series. I feel so lucky with these recent book series that I've come across. All right, so again, here is our side binding. And here's the back of the book. Let's see if I can get the light right. Big Nate in a Class by Himself. Nate knows he's meant for big things, really big things. Hey, there goes Nate. Everybody knows he's destined for greatness. But life doesn't always go your way just because you're awesome. Nate, yak, 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 blah, blah, blah. Trouble always seems to find him, but Nate keeps his cool no matter what. He knows he's great. A fortune cookie told him so. Today you will surprise all others. Very cool. And it even kind of tells you down here too, for fans of the hilarious Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, here comes Big Nate. And he's an accidental mischief maker and definitely not the teacher's pet. I would say that's a good description of him. And so Diary of a Wimpy Kid, if you finish that series, or, you know, if that series, if you've tried it and it's a little bit challenging for you, I think this might be a good fit to try first before Diary of a Wimpy Kid. If you're a Dogman fan, Captain Underpants fan, this is probably a good series for you as far as the type of book that you enjoy reading. All right, let's dive in here. Let's take a look at chapter 1. Chapter 1. In what year was the 14th Amendment to the Constitution ratified? She could have called on anybody. There were 22 other kids in the classroom, and they all had their hands in the air. Francis did, Teddy did, Gina did, of course. Even Ricky Belansky, who usually sits in the back row with his pencil up his nose, had his hands raised. She could have called on one of them, right? Guess who she called on? Nate. Yep. Mrs. Godfrey always did this. She always calls on me when I don't know the answer, and she could tell I didn't know. Ever hear somebody say that dogs can smell fear? That's Mrs. Godfrey. She's like a dog. A big, ugly, nasty dog. Grrr. I sort of scooched down in my seat, the whole class staring at me. My ears started to burn, then my cheeks. I can feel my tiny droplets of sweat beating up on my forehead. Well, she barks. Graf. What was the question again? I've heard that on the average day, you use about 10% of your brain power. Well, sitting there with my mouth churning as dry as a sack of sand, I really needed the other 90% to kick in, but my mind is blank. Mrs. Godfrey steps away from the chalkboard and starts towards me. She looks mad. No, worse than mad. She looks mean. Her face is flushed. I can see tiny flecks of spittle at the corners of her mouth. That's pretty gross. I brace myself, and then the bell rings and rings and keeps ringing, except it doesn't really sound like the school bell. It sounds more like ring, whap. I was dreaming. I blink hard. Then I let out a huge sigh of relief. I've never been so happy to hear that alarm clock in my entire life. Not that I'm ready to get up or anything. Closing my eyes again, I flop back down onto my pillow. Zzz. Time to go to school. Nab. Foof. Hey, thanks a lot, Dad. Way to break it to me gently. Nice parenting. Actually, his parenting skills aren't that bad. He makes the nastiest tuna casserole you've ever tasted, but it's pretty harmless, especially compared to some of the psycho dads I've seen. At the Little League games, it's just that Dad's kind of clueless. He has no idea of what it's like to be me. I mean, how long ago was it since he's been in middle school? 30 or 40 years? I think he's forgotten how it feels to be held prisoner all day long in a building that smells like a combination of chalk dust, ammonia, and mystery meat. He can't remember what it's like to be an average sixth grader. Parental fact. Once you go bald, you completely lose your ability to relate to anyone under the age of 30. Not that I'm the average sixth grader. Okay, I'll admit it. I'm not exactly Joe Honor Roll. But answer me this. When I get out there in the real world, is anybody going to care whether or not I know who was vice president under Warren G. Harding? And don't you try to pretend like you know who it was, because you don't. The point is, I don't want to use my talents for more than just memorizing useless facts. I'm meant for bigger things. I am destined for greatness. Nice, Nate. I'm still not 100% sure what kind of greatness I'm destined for, but I'll figure it out. I've got options. I keep a list on my closet door about this very subject. Could achieve greatness in soccer. I'm the goalie for our middle school team. Music. Enslave the Mollusk, the band I started with Francis, Teddy, and Arthur, rocks. Cartooning. I specialize in caricatures of teachers. Oh, there's a good one. Table football. I'm awesome at it, but it might be a tough way to make a living. There's also stuff I definitely won't achieve greatness in, like opera, synchronized swimming, and cat grooming. Enough said. Let's get back to the unfortunate fact that today's a school day, but what kind? You know, not all school days are created equal. You can rank them by category. Just so you know, I'm really into ranking stuff. One time I spent a solid week ranking every kind of snack food I could think of. At the top, cheese doodles. At the bottom, rice cakes. Dad fact. Dad handed out rice cakes for Halloween one year. That was also the year our house got egged. Connect the dots, Dad. Here you go, kids. What the? If I were to grade the different kinds of school days, report card style, here's how they'd stack up. A-, field trip days. I'm not talking about the lame field trips when the teacher makes you walk around the neighborhood on Earth Day and pick up trash. I'm talking about the all-day, get on a bus, go somewhere field trip. Even if they give you a worksheet in the hope that you might actually learn something, you can usually come up with an excuse not to do it. That's what I did last year when we went to the aquarium. A walrus ate my homework. Here's the B grade. Special events days. This is when the class time gets eaten up by something better, like a movie or an assembly, or better yet, some sort of emergency. Last spring, Mr. Zerwicki's, let me try that again. Zerwicki's wig caught on fire and set off the smoke alarm in the faculty lounge. Let's go back and take a look. I should be in math right now. We got to evacuate the building and ended up playing ultimate frisbee on the lawn for about an hour. That was awesome for everybody except Mrs. Kerwitsky. Substitute teacher days, C-. I think we can all agree that subs are almost always better than the real teachers. By better, I mean more clueless. The absolute best subs are the fresh out of college ones who have never taught a day in their lives. Frankly, they're not very bright, or maybe they're just really gullible. You know, the word gullible isn't in the dictionary. It's not? But Mr. Galvin always lets us chew gum in class. Okay, carry on. D, normal days. Unfortunately, most days are like this. You spend 6.5 action-packed hours studying subjects like photosynthesis and the War of 1812. Thrilling. You get home after school and your parents are like, "What did you learn in school today?" And you think about it for a solid 10 seconds and then you say, "I don't have the foggiest idea." All right, here's the F grade. Train wrecks. There are so many ways for school days to go wrong that it's almost impossible to list them. To list them all. You could get screamed at by a teacher, usually Mrs. Godfrey, for absolutely no reason, which seems to happen to me a lot. You could get roughed up by Chester, the school bully, who looks like he spikes his chocolate milk with human growth hormone. Or your teacher could nail you with a quiz or a test you never saw coming. Test? Gulp. Test? Now, there is a horrifying thought. Do we have a test today? I don't remember any teacher mentioning a test yesterday. But, like I already told you, I don't remember much of anything they say. I usually start to lose interest right around the time I hear, "Settle down, class." Settle down, class, in teacher speak means let the mind-numbing boredom begin. Let the mind-numbing boredom begin. Here's the teacher. Yak, 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 yak. And by the way, there's a test tomorrow. Yak, 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 yak. It's times like this, I wish I paid better attention in class like Francis. Francis! He'll know whether or not we have a test today. Francis fact. His instincts on eating his lunch every day in alphabetical order. He insists on eating his lunch every day in alphabetical order. Apple, celery, sandwich, yogurt. Here's the thing about Francis. He knows just about everything. He's always got his nose buried in the book of facts, and he takes school pretty seriously. The truth is, he's kind of a geek, but I'm allowed to call him that's because we're tight. We've known each other since we were at the first day of kindergarten, when he started snoring during nap time, so I hit him in the head with my Thomas the Tank Engine lunchbox, and we've been best friends ever since. Let me see if he's up yet. Chapter 2. All right, friends. Oops, excuse me. I skipped a page. Oh, let's go back. Oh, he is up. Yep, he's up. And he's reading, of course. But wait a minute. Look what he's reading. His social studies textbook. So we must have a test today. Oh no. This is bad. This is very bad. First, because my social studies textbook is in my locker at school. And second, because I'm suddenly remembering what Mrs. Godfrey said to me about our last test. If you do this poorly on the next test, Nate, you could very well end up in summer school. D+. Yipe! We've got social studies first period. That only gives me about 45 minutes to study my class notes. Class notes, class notes. Where are my class notes? Here they are. Notes, War of 1812. Nate writes his name 3 times. What a save! Mayday, mayday. Home run. Look out. Quack. Nate plus Jenny. Why doesn't anyone respect me? Mr. Galvin. Doesn't look like very good notes. Well, it looks like my class notes aren't going to help me much. But unless Mrs. Godfrey gives us extra credit for doodling, I'm dead. R.I.P. Nate Wright. All right, friends, that is the end of chapter 1. I hope you enjoyed that so far. Looks like an awesome, great book to me. And again, if you're not sure if this is a good fit for you, I would pause it on one of those pages, read it to yourself, see if it's a good fit for you. Okay, guys, listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe now. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed that. And also, when you subscribe, you can look at the playlist, and you'll see that I'm starting a Big Nate playlist. You'll be able to see my review on all of these different books. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.